Hello again, my friends. This is Indiana Homes, and today I am standing in front of the RMS Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. The RMS Queen Mary was first launched in 1936 and sailed the oceans as a premium cruise liner of the utmost luxury until World War II, when it was converted to a troop transport ship which carried Allied troops back and forth across the Atlantic. Following World War II, the RMS Queen Mary was converted back into a luxury steamship and continued operation until 1967, when it was retired and found its final home here in Long Beach, California. So come along with me today and let's take a little tour of the RMS Queen Mary. This is one of the many lifeboats that served on the Queen Mary. You can see it's steel hulled, all steel and very large. As we board the Queen Mary, we are boarding on the 4th deck. And we are entering the main hall. The woodwork on this ship is just beautiful. This is the Promenade Deck, where you have a lot of shops and shopping. Very beautiful in here. Feels very nautical. Observation bar. Let's see if we can go to the Art Deco observation bar. Oh yes, it looks like we can. Fantastic. This is exciting. This is the observation. This is the observation bar in Art Deco lounge. Christmas carols.
Christmas carols by candlelight. Please come home for Christmas. If not by Christmas, by New Year's night. Friends and relations send salutations. Sure as the stars shine above. But this is Christmas. Yeah, Christmas, my dear. Time of year to spend with the one you love. So won't you tell me you'll never roam? Christmas and New Year's will find you home. There'll be no more sorrow, no grief and pain. And now be happy, oh happy once again. And our last, very not much not least, the last song we're doing in our set for this hour is another original written by Mr. Bill Wood. And it's not about Christmas time, but it's about Christmas on one of the greatest ocean liners ever built, the RMS Queen Mary. So folks, this is Christmas on the Queen.
Wandering in the new year, in the apple across the pond. Move past with you not line, and tomorrow I'll be gone. Strolled up the gangway, and I breathed my biggest smile. High speed up and waiting for me, no going across in style. The steward escorts us to the largest suite I've ever seen. We're gonna have first class unsurpassed Christmas on the Queen. Made a reservation, dine in the veranda grill. Once the band starts playing, my feet just won't sit still. Now I'm on the dance floor, rubbing elbows with celebrities. Made up my mind to spend the next 4 days jitterbugging across the sea. Johnny night singing carols, yeah, it's really quite the scene. We're gonna have first class unsurpassed Christmas on the Queen. On Christmas Eve, put the bird at your shoulder. That was circle the promenade in search of some mistletoe. The ship's totally decked out in a festive red and green. We're having a first class unsurpassed Christmas on the Queen. We're wishing you a first class unsurpassed Christmas on the Queen. Yeah, Christmas on the Queen. Thank you, everybody. We will be back at 5 p.m. But enjoy Community Day.
Among the facilities available on board Queen Mary, the liner featured 2 indoor swimming pools, beauty salons, libraries, and children's nurseries for all 3 classes of guests, a music studio and a lecture hall, telephone connectivity to anywhere in the world, outdoor paddle tennis courts, and dog kennels. The largest room on board was the cabin class or first class main dining room, Grand Salon. Spanning 3 stories in height and anchored by white columns, the ship had many air-conditioned public rooms on board as well. The cabin class swimming pool facility spanned over 2 decks in height and was the first ocean liner to be equipped with her own Jewish prayer room, part of a policy to show avoided the anti-Semitism evident in Nazi Germany. The cabin class main dining room featured a large map of the transatlantic crossing with twin tracks symbolizing the winter and spring routes, and in the summer and autumn route as well.
During each crossing, a small motorized model of the Queen Mary would travel along the mural to indicate the vessel's progress en route. As an alternate to the dining room, Queen Mary featured a separate cabin-class veranda grill on the sun deck at the upper aft of the ship. The veranda grill was an exclusive a la carte restaurant with a capacity of approximately 80 passengers and was converted to the Starlight Club at night. Also on board was the Observation Bar, an Art Deco-styled lounge with wide ocean views. Woods from different regions of the British Empire were used in her public rooms and staterooms. Accommodations ranged from fully equipped luxurious cabins, that is first class staterooms, to modest and cramped third-class cabins. Artists commissioned by the Cunard in 1933 for works of art in the interior include Edward Wadsworth and a Duncan Carse. In 1940, during World War II, the Queen Mary left New York for Sydney, Australia, where she, along with several other liners, were converted into troop-carrying ships to carry Australian and New Zealand soldiers to the United Kingdom. In the Second World War conversion, the ship's hull, superstructure, and funnels were painted navy gray. As a result of her new color, and in combination with her great speed, she became known as the Grey Ghost. To protect her against magnetic mines, a degaussing coil was fitted around the outside of the hull. Inside, stateroom furniture and decoration were removed and replaced with triple-tiered fixed wooden bunks, which were later replaced by standy or fold-up bunks. A total of 6 miles of carpet, 220 cases of china, crystal, and silver services, tapestries, and paintings were removed and stored in warehouses for the duration of the war. The woodwork in the staterooms, the cabin-class dining room, and other public areas were covered with leather to protect them. Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth ships were the largest and fastest troop ships involved in the war, often carrying as many as 15,000 men in a single voyage, and often traveling out of convoy without escort. Their high speed and zigzag course made it virtually impossible for U-boats to catch them. In addition to carrying tens of thousands of soldiers back and forth across the ocean, the Queen Mary also carried the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill across the Atlantic for meetings with fellow Allied forces officials on several occasions. He was listed on the passenger manifest as Colonel Worden. He would later remark that the Queen Mary had shortened the war by a year. The overall length of the Queen Mary is 1,019.5 feet. Her beam is 118.5 feet. Her gross tonnage is 81,237 tons. Her hull plating is all riveted steel, and it took more than 10 million rivets to hold her together. Her keel to top of funnel is 181 feet. She had 160,000 horsepower and a cruising speed of 28.5 knots. Her maximum speed was 32 knots. She used Parsons single reduction geared steam turbines, which also were fed by 27 boilers. Her fuel consumption was 1,000 tons per day, and the type of fuel she used was bunker C fuel oil. Her draft was 39.5 feet, and stabilizers were a set of 2 Denny Browns. She had 3 anchors. The length of the anchor chain was 1,980 feet in total, with 3 smokestacks, 4 propellers, and 1 140-ton rudder. She was commissioned by the Cunard Line and constructed at the John Brown and Company, Clydebank, Scotland shipyards. Her keel was laid in 1930. She was launched on September 26, 1934, and had her maiden voyage on May 27, 1936. She had a total of 12 decks, a passenger capacity of 2,038, and she had 24 motorized lifeboats, all made of riveted steel. The officers and crew numbered 1,174.
Looking back on its heritage, there's one of those London telephone boxes right there. And then here we have some of the lower sun decks down below here. It doesn't look that exciting at the moment because there are no lounge chairs out, there's no activities, but there's often bands here on this deck that perform, or on the deck below, during the summer for various events, whether it's for party events or whether it's for weddings or engagements. Lots of life events are held on the Queen Mary. There's a little tiny breakwater here to protect the Queen Mary and protect her from anybody trying to get their boat too close. Just beyond that is the harbor, and beyond that is the downtown Long Beach Marina. You'll notice hundreds, if not thousands, of sailboats docked there. And just beyond that, you see some of the high-rise buildings of downtown Long Beach. Most of those are condominiums. There is a few hotels, especially over here on the left. But over here in the middle, we have the Long Beach Convention Center, and we have a lot of condos. The Queen Mary has a wonderful hotel that people from all over the world come to stay at. Some of the premier events at the Queen Mary include Halloween and New Year's, as well as Christmas. But I think a lot of people come here for the big annual New Year's celebration, as well as the annual Halloween celebrations they hold on the haunted ship. It's a beautiful time of night right now. It's so warm I don't really need this long sleeve shirt. I could just be in my t-shirt. Wonder if we could go up to the next level. Let's see. A lot of these levels are locked because they have guests dining, enjoying different activities. Isn't this beautiful, ladies and gentlemen? The RMS Royal Majesty's ship, the Queen Mary. Just across the parking lot and below is an old English village, which is currently under reconstruction. And beyond that, you have Pacific Ocean and Catalina Island. Everybody should visit Catalina Island at least once in their lifetime. It is simply lovely. It's mostly natural, like it was for thousands of years, with a small city, small town really, called Avalon. Walking about the Queen Mary makes you feel like you've gone back in time, maybe 70 years. The ship's a little worse for the wear, as you'd expect, being an all-steel ship, all-steel hulled ship. Rust does get into it, but the City of Long Beach and its management company do the best they can to keep this ship in shape. Here's a good view of one of the lifeboats. As you can see, there's a little propeller on the end, and there is a motor housing. So these ships actually could be, these lifeboats could actually be steered. The only thing that's missing there behind the screw or the propeller is the rudder. Normally there'd be a rudder there, but it probably rusted away and they had to remove it for safety. You can see you can fit quite a lot of people in these lifeboats. It looks like some of the accoutrements have been removed because these lifeboats would have been covered with canvas. I imagine they probably had wooden benches as well as life preservers underneath the benches at the time when they were actually sailing this. But see, you can see there's just one lifeboat here still hanging. And then if you look down beyond this to all of those hooks, all of those winches, that's where all the rest of these lifeboats would have been hanging. The sun has set. Now I am walking around looking at the front of the boat, or the bow, and you can see the giant mast here that holds the crow's nest. That is really massive. Big steel pipes that connect to it to keep it stable as it goes down through the hull of the ship. This is really something to behold. Beautiful panorama. As we look from the mast across the city of Long Beach, downtown Long Beach. And over on this side, as we look across at the marina, we can see here is another one of these lifeboats. So they've got exactly 2 lifeboats still attached to the ship, to give you an idea to the ship and how many there were. And then we had the one that we saw down at the dock. The other thing that's amazing is the giant stacks which they've covered with Christmas lights. Pretty darn cool. There are 3 stacks on the Queen Mary. This is the deck where we had the wireless and the radio rooms. So if you look in here, I don't know if you guys can see in there. It's difficult to see with the reflections. But this is where the radio and wireless were. Gives you an idea of how they were able to communicate while out at sea. Ship's communications exhibits. A massive stack. 3 of these stacks here on the Queen Mary. And you can hear all the air conditioning and heating and air pumps that are on this deck. Also on this deck is a game deck where people could play various games on the floor, like this one here. I wonder if anybody knows what this game was called. Interesting type of deck game. See one of the stacks there. Looking the other direction, you can see 2 stacks.
Yeah, you don't want to focus, I can't catch you.
A lot of people out here today enjoying the sights aboard the Queen Mary. The Queen Mary has several of these British telephone boxes that you find all over England, or at least you used to find all over England. I think they've taken them all out of service now that we're all using cell phones. Here I am inside one of the British telephone boxes. Used to find these all over England, all over London, and this is how you would make telephone calls before we had things like cell phones. But no more. Now they're just part of history, but such fun history. I can remember being in England and making telephone calls from inside these boxes, and it was actually pretty cool. We had similar kind of telephone boxes in America, but they were never as cool as this. They were always just like some aluminum or steel and glass thing. Nothing as beautiful as what they had in England.
I hope you've enjoyed this tour aboard the RMS Queen Mary here in Long Beach, California. This has been Indiana Homes, and I hope to see you in our next video. Until then, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notifications button. Thank you very much.